We begin tonight with a first-hand account of the tragedy that happened that night. Julie Dunmire joins us now live after speaking with a professor who was in the Berkey Hall classroom when the gunman opened fire. Julie.
Yeah, I have no idea how Marco Díaz-Muñoz continues to do interviews and talk about this. He shows remarkable strength for what happened here at Berkey Hall just behind me. The memorial here at Berkey Hall growing more by the hour, students continuing to drop off flowers at the location of where two students were killed. That professor asking for systemic change. Berkey Hall flashing red and blue because of what happened in room 114.
I was teaching, it was a Monday, February 13th.
Professor Marco Díaz-Muñoz was inside doing what he does.
So I was in the midst of that.
His Monday night lecture.
When all of a sudden we heard, I didn't know what it was. I just heard this explosion.
All was normal.
I had been lucky enough that I had never been close to any gunshots. So I didn't recognize what a gunshot sounds like.
Until it wasn't.
And under the threshold of the door frame, not quite out, not quite in, right just there. And then this person is all masked, and you couldn't tell who it was.
His students.
A student screamed.
Victims of the mass shooting at Michigan State.
Then the panic, and everybody starts running, and they are stumbling one over the others because the seats in my classroom are fixed. So it's not like you can throw the chairs and run. So the kids were trapped. And then the shooting starts.
Two of his students died. Others were hurt.
And it was just heart-wrenching. It was just terrible to see the state in which some of my students were. And then some students had about 4 of them stayed helping the wounded.
I sat down with Díaz-Muñoz 1 year later.
So, how are you?
I'm doing fine. A little exhausted because, the combination of teaching and lately just a lot of interviews, though I wanted to interview because I felt it was important that I shared my views and things and my experiences and helped the audience understand a little bit more what happened.
He wants people to know.
So that person that did the shooting is just, to me, symptomatic of the things that are increasingly getting, worse in our society.
He believes the increasing number of mass shootings in America is a problem unique to the United States, one that if people work together can be fixed.
So we, every one of us, should and could do something about it. Volunteering, being willing, having the political will for change, and do our part so that mental health care services are funded adequately. And there are so many other services that need to be funded adequately.
Díaz-Muñoz hoping this call to action in response to what happened inside of room 114 doesn't fall on deaf ears.
So if I take refuge in my house and my good life, and I want to shut the front door to the needs of others, why should I be surprised that that can happen to me in a mall, while teaching, walking? It can happen to any of us. And that's part of why I am doing the interviews, to share those views.
This memorial at Berkey is one of multiple on campus. I've seen flowers being placed at the rock today, as well as many being placed at the Sparty statue not far from here at Berkey Hall today. We'll have more from those memorials coming up later in the hour. Live in East Lansing, Julie Dunmire, Fox 17 News.